Yeah. Don't adjust your television set, ladies and gentlemen. I got to do it. Hold on, wait. Brockins isn't here, so I got to do it. Hold on. Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to Friday night edition of Headkicks and Haymakers. I am not necessarily a host, but I'm a stand-in. I am your boy K. Rich, Mama's #1 draft pick, and this is my guy, our friend, my brother, Bobby Blunt, and our good friend and brother, Nick Bodkins, is on the way. He is doing the usual episode of Super Dad as he is attending children's games, cheering them on, cursing other parents out, telling them that their kids suck. So, Bodkins, do your thing. We'll hold it down till you show up. And of course, you guys, you know how we like to do. Please do us a big favor, like, share, and subscribe. But we're gonna talk about some fights. We got some stuff that happened last weekend. We got a card that happened earlier today, and a card that we can't wait for until tomorrow. So let's go ahead and just recap a little bit of last week. So we know the UFC was out there in Perth once again. Took a nice trip down under, a little shrimp on the barbie, right? And was headlined by a fight which kind of has some contention, some belt contentions on it. And we're talking about, of course, none other than my man Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes. Now, before this fight, if you would have asked me what would have happened, I would have told you it was going to go all rounds. It was going to be a slugfest. Bobby, we got something completely opposite from that in the main event last weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't a long night. Last week, I made the decision to pick completely off vibes. I wanted to keep the Dominic Reyes story going. I kind of acknowledged that it'd definitely be a difficult task. Ulberg being younger, he's definitely got some nice finishes on his belt there. We weren't too sure about him because of his last fight with John. Was a little bit more kind of back and forth, and we didn't see the same out of him. But that kind of all went away in this. He looked much faster than Reyes. Reyes really never even got a chance to get in distance with him or anything. He was just kind of, waiting to go first, and Ulberg ended up going first, and he put him out. And, truthfully, even though it was rough watching it, it probably saved the night because, that site fee from Perth was definitely paid for in full. They got a lot of meh in it. The fights weren't like necessarily terrible, but you just saw a lot of people kind of debuting from contender. We lost a number of fights from before when we broke it down. So the thing kind of fell apart at the hip, but the main card was still decent, but the main event did not really go too long. Ulberg put him out. It was kind of sad seeing Reyes there. Like, he had really no idea what happened. He just went out. But I mean, definitely the performance that is the best case scenario for Ulberg. Like, that's precisely what he wanted. Now he can, put himself in the conversation next for the title. He's in Perth, so I'd be surprised if he went to Vegas. But, great performance from Ulberg. I couldn't be happier for him, even though I was kind of back in Reyes there.
Yeah, man. When it came time to it, I didn't get a chance to hang out with you guys last weekend. They kind of put in some pin who I wanted to win on this one, but it was a weekend in which I really thought that the Australians would dominate, and I was pretty much right on that one. When we look at other fights that led up to the main event, but this one for me was a serious atonement of what we think Carlos Ulberg could be. Did we get to see his full bag of tricks? I don't think so. But when you get to those weight classes like light heavy and heavyweight, that's when the hand speed and the strength really comes into play a lot more than smaller weight classes where you kind of you get a lot of pecking, a lot of guys going several rounds without knocking each other out, really strong jaws, things of that nature. Carlos Ulberg in this case, for me, kind of cemented him as, okay, well, what happens Saturday, tomorrow at UFC 320, will determine what goes on for him in 2026. Now, don't get me wrong, Dominic Reyes still somebody to me that in what the last two or three showings, I would think that Carlos over. I mean, Dominic Reyes really could still have a case to be made to where, maybe one good fight somewhere in 2026, he can make some noise. Because remember, he was on a 3-fight win streak. I remember, of course, I don't want to discredit him beating Anthony Smith, but he beat Anthony Smith really good. Krylov was a really good fight of his. And then I don't think I watched the Dustin Jacoby, but the other two I did for sure. This was one of those examples of, hey, you snooze, you lose, and literally he got put out, and unfortunately he was at number 7. Or is he at number 7?
Yeah, I think he was at 7. He was probably not ranked or at like 15 before he went on that resurgence, which he absolutely did, which is kind of the main reason I just wanted to keep it going, But in my heart, you kind of knew it would only go so long. And, I think that might be it for the chance of him getting a title shot, even with another win. But at the same time, like you said, for Oberg, I definitely think he has done enough to be next. You can't really sneeze at a 9-fight win streak at this point, especially in that division. And, I'd actually be really interested in a fight versus him versus Ankalaev. Because like you said, those questions that we didn't get answered, those probably weren't going to get answered in that fight because we just kind of expected it, to be on the feet. But, Ankalaev might kind of mix it up on him. So you might, get those questions answered in that one. But I definitely think he's done enough, bottom line.
Yeah, man, you're completely right on that one. If, push comes to shove, because we'll see tomorrow for sure, if Ankalaev takes out Pereira one more time in the rematch at UFC 320, then I could definitely see a match of Carlos, with Oberg somewhere in like maybe June, maybe earlier than that, March. You got to give him at least a month and a half, 2 months off. But then, right when the seasons change right there, so, winter goes in the spring, that would be a great idea to see the two of the top. Because like you said, 9 fights, I don't care what division you're in, you are at a title contention, especially starting from the bottom, especially being a young contender, and doing it in front of the home crowd in the sense of it, like in this type of territory with all the eyes on you. I think that makes a big deal, especially to the fight promoters, to the matchmakers. So for me, Oberg going forward, I love to see what he does. Like, he's at 3 right now. I guess they'll definitely redo the rankings over the weekend. He's at 3 right now. I'm curious to see if they're going to put him at 1 or 2, depending on what happens after Saturday. But there's no other place to go but up, bro. And whoever's got that belt, and you said he was in Australia. Australia's on the West Coast, of the map. So technically, if he got on a plane and made it to Vegas today or tomorrow, I could see that. And then a nice little stare down with whoever wins tomorrow night. I can imagine.
He was the reason I mentioned it is because he was vocal about wanting to do it, especially apparently he cut like the after party short and stuff like that. Like I heard that from Dennis on Submission Radio, who's on the ground in Australia. And so I could see it, but at the same time, those things get thrown around a lot. So I'm not going to, like, whether he's there or not, I think he, deserves, the next shot. And I know a lot of people would probably push back and be like, hey, but wait, we got Roundtree and Yuri this weekend. Why be so quick with it? I've already seen both of them get the title shot, Yuri multiple times. And I don't really think there's going to be anything in that performance to make me put them over Oberg. So I know the UFC won't see it that way. I'm just kind of saying it from my perspective.
Nah, man, that's you hitting the nail on the head. If push comes to shove and it's Ankalaev next weekend, Yeah, even if it is Pereira, who wins, and of course we'll get into that a little more. I don't see a reason for there not to be an immediate title shot for my man Oberg right now. Of course, yes, Khalil Roundtree and Yuri Prohaska both being closer to the top of the rankings than I thought, because of course I wasn't paying no attention, but somehow Yuri's still even after the losses, the tough losses, Yuri's still at number 2. Khalil Roundtree made a name for himself going up against Pereira, I think at number 9, and this is definitely a year of him to be making more of a name for himself. I don't see a reason why they would stick Oberg in the ring with either one of them, depending on who wins on this weekend. I don't. It won't make sense to me. You just want to put another obstacle in the way to give whichever one, whether it be Ankalaev or Pereira, more time to rest. To me, it's the belt or nothing. And even other fighters have been saying that over this past weekend. But before we go on, I at least want to give just a little bit of a shout out to what I thought was the knockout of the night, because I caught it. Brando Pereira, the Australian, but I think they were saying he was like Slovenian or something, against Alicia Ellison. I first of all, let's say this: both of these fighters have incredible stories. Alicia Ellison being a service veteran, fighting for America, of course, had a really touching story that I read about in maybe like a month or so ago. He's only had a few fights. He's really been training hard. He thought about taking his own life, but he committed himself to fighting in the UFC. A lot of times you hear fighters say, MMA saved my life. This guy really, really meant it. And then to see him go out there and, take a really tough L, and then in a post fight still be upbeat and be himself about it. I think that's a big deal. Which won them which won Brando Petrich performance of the night honors, because he got knocked out in the first round. It was a clean knockout. It was some clean hands in that one. But still, you got to give honor to the fighters, to the guys who put themselves out there in the ring. So just to show a little love, shout out to the performance of the night bonus going to Brando Petrich, knocking out Alicia Ellison in this essence, man.
Yeah, no, that was definitely brutal. Performance bonus definitely earned. Did you by chance catch Uncle Neil's fight?
Oh man, yes. I was gonna skip over that, but thank you for bringing it up. We always have jokes on the show, Bobby, Nick, and I, about there are gatekeepers in certain weight classes, in certain divisions. There's somebody you got to fight, no matter what your ranking is, and if you want to put yourself to the test, you got to see this person before you get anywhere. And Neil Magny is that person for the welterweight division. Jake Matthews, hey, awesome fighter. Great opportunity for him to be fighting in front of his people. But he got put into a position where I don't think he expected Neil Magny to come out there and do like he did. So big shouts out to Neil Magny on his submission. Third round.
You could definitely say that again, because it was a pretty wild fight for multiple reasons. I was in the space with Rob when it was going on, so I didn't have the full commentary on. But essentially, in the first round, Matthews has a choke on Neil, and it looked like he, it wasn't so much that it looked like he was going out, but time was going to expire in like 10 seconds, and you just kind of saw his arm dropping back, and the ref touched it and just kind of assumed he was out and like waved it off. So at that point in time, Jake Matthews thought he won, in that moment. And it was very bizarre, because though I liked that the ref kind of owned his mistake and acknowledged that he fucked up, because like in no way was Neil out. But it was also just kind of bizarre how all of a sudden it was fight over. Oh wait, no, never mind. My bad. Back to your stool. And I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like that again. So it was just kind of bizarre because, you know, his adrenaline dump kind of already happened because he literally thought he won, and then they're telling him to resume and go back out to round 2. But it was still a really great fight and a great, you know, finish and submission by Neil in the third. But it just kind of did have some bizarre scenarios because of that. I mean, I saw Matthews is going to appeal it. Those things rarely ever work out, but you would think he might have a case in this one. But I mean, every time I say that, like I said, I just don't see a scenario where they actually overturn it. So, you know, Neil did nothing wrong, but he definitely got kind of lucky there because a lot of other refs would not acknowledge their mistake. You know?
Right.
And they would just be like, oh, no, I called it. Yeah, he won by submission. And so, yeah, it was kind of bizarre. And I'm in no way am I trying to take away from Neil's win because, you know, he did what he had to do at that point. But it was just a very bizarre thing to happen in the middle of the card.
Yeah, man. And you, to me, you nailed it for me. When I stepped away, you know, to do some dad stuff real quick, change a diaper. I came back and I was like, oh snap, this is about to be the end of it. It's Neil Magny's going to be out. And to watch it and see what was happening, and you know, your eyes are going, oh, this is it. You know, it's over for him. Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like to be the fighter. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
goes, and like all of your body is on win mode, and then you got to go. I got to do it again. You know what I mean?
Especially like doing the camp and like all that stuff. And, you know, in his mind, he had that moment of release, like all the hard work was worth it sort of thing. And he had that for like 5 seconds. And then they're like, oh, no, back to your stool.
Right.
Pretty wild scenario.
Yeah, man. It's definitely got to be tough, man. I feel for him. But, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes in the UFC, man. You know, and that's why, you know, a lot of times, you know, guys will tell you, especially when we watch these events, you know, A, you don't want them to go the distance, and B, don't let the judges decide for you. And Neil Magny knows that, and took great advantage of it this time in his case, in his favor, and went ahead and took him all the way out. You know, another one I thought was really worth it. Just a little bit of recognition. Tom Nolan. You know, and Charlie Campbell performance of the night somehow, some way too. It's out here. It's raining submissions, guys. it was raining submissions for a quick two fights with the rear naked in the first round. You know, of all places, I thought that was a good one too. So I would be remiss not to mention that one. But anyway, let's keep it going. You know, that's it for UFC Perf. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. But as we moved on earlier today, who knew? Well, I'm not gonna say who knew, man. But earlier today, the PFL had a card on right there, of course, in a great place like Dubai in the UAE at like I think 11 o'clock this morning, and which technically for them is tomorrow. So they were living in the future, we living in the past. So out of nowhere, the PFL has this one. And it's headlined by, once again, one of our favorite fighters in the PFL, Paul Hughes, and Usman Nurmagedov, around, you know, volume 2. What? And it goes by unanimous decision. I don't know what to think because I personally was at work, so I missed it. I'm going to have to watch a fight over the fight, you know, like review it myself. It went 5. I see it went 5 rounds. It was a unanimous decision. Usman Nurmagomedov is another guy from Dagestan. If you don't know, you should find out about it. But Paul Hughes has the name and the talent, you know, to represent, you know, the country of Ireland like only some people could. We're not going to mention who we're talking about, but only some people could do it. But to see that it went 5 rounds and it was a unanimous decision, I've got to think that this was another somewhat dominant performance from Usman Nurmagomedov. Bobby, did you get a chance to lay eyes on it? And am I right in my estimation that it was another slow rolling of a Dagestani fighter on another fighter who's not prepared for that?
I mean, you could kind of say it actually was kind of a bizarre one. You know, it was similar to the first fight. You know, the first fight definitely was competitive and stuff. The first round started, and it was just kind of the same as before. A real feeling out process in the first round. You saw them, you know, both kind of taking their time and stuff like that. Um, you know, Usman did low blow Paul Hughes in the first. I didn't really think it was intentional. If anything, because of their stances, Hughes kind of jumped into it. But, you know, he definitely needed to take some time for that. And, you know, I personally scored it rounds 1, rounds 4, and rounds 5 for Usman. I know a lot of people either had it 4-1 Usman, or they had it kind of similar to me in the fourth, thinking it was 2-2 going into the fifth. The event kind of got overshadowed by the judging, because one of the judges scored it 50-45, and which is implying, you know, Hughes won no rounds. And I wasn't really there. Like I said, I thought it was 2-2 going into the fifth, but I could kind of see those 4-1 scorecards at the same time, because they were very close rounds. But in the rounds that Usman pulled away, he was able to gain back control on Hughes. I definitely think, like in the second and third, Hughes did land the more kind of damaging punches and stuff, and that's why I gave him the second and the third. But in my opinion, it was very similar to the last fight, very close leading up to that fifth round. In my opinion, I had Usman winning the fight. So there was not really a scenario where I gave it to Paul Hughes. I've seen other few people make the assumption that, you know, Hughes kind of got screwed. If anything, I would say maybe the 50-45 was a little much. But I do think at the end of the day, like, the right man won. A lot of people were calling for point deductions, because there were, you know, multiple groin strikes that happened to Hughes. But at the same time, it was a sloppy fouling side on both sides of the coin, because, like, Hughes did a clash of heads on Usman that, like, split open his eye. So, you know, could you have taken a point? Sure. Ironically, it would not have made the difference the way the scoring happened. But I did think the right guy won the fight. For me personally, I was a little disappointed in Hughes's output. I thought he was being a little bit too safe in certain rounds, and he really needed to get going more, especially knowing he needed to really stamp it home if there was any, like, worry about judging or anything. But he just fought too close of a fight where you could give it to him. And Usman, you know, looked very good. I mean, his striking and then to transition is just, I'm amazed by it every time. So I don't really want the, you know, story not to be about Usman, because, like, at the end of the day, he did win. But I think the main headline people are going to go into is kind of the funky judging, and because it was in Abu Dhabi, that is going to be taken some way. And, you know, whether that's deserved or not, rightfully so. I mean, I kind of get it from one aspect, but I didn't think they were really fighting on, like, a different playing field or anything. There was some pretty wonky judging the entire night. And at the end of the day, I just did not think Hughes did enough to win the fight.
If you say it, then I gotta agree with you, bro. I know your eye is definitely on the sparrow, so to speak, when it comes to these things. It's, you know, as we watched the last one, you know, I believe we were all somewhat in a little bit of a contention when we saw Usman Nurmagedov go against Paul Hughes the first time, and we were just thinking, man, like, Paul Hughes should do something else. You know what I'm saying? I thought there was some more I don't want to say, because respectfully, I don't want to say that there was more fight that should have been in Paul Hughes, but to watch the last one and to hear you tell me now that a couple head knocks, understandable, that's happening because those guys like to get in close with each one another. But somewhere Paul Hughes didn't have the output that you thought. It puts me in a place where, hey, look, Usman is better right now, but that's okay. But for me in the PFL, that is okay. A little bit of disparity between the top and the bottom, or rather, the second guy is all right. Paul Hughes can still wrap it up and get to some other guys in that division, and we can still be happy to catch some more lightweight fights in the PFL. And on top of that, let's just to take a step backwards. Let's look at a couple other things that happened earlier today on the PFL card. So something I was really interested in was definitely Sergio Pettis versus Magomedov doing the spinning back elbow. That's a killer one. If your last name is Pettis, we're definitely expected for some type of magic to happen. Corey Anderson defeated Dovlet Yagomedov. Of course, that's a light heavyweight one. Corey Anderson is a scary guy. He won by unanimous decision and also received, the light that was for a vacant lightweight championship. So it was something we wanted to see. And for me, I'm going to have to take a minute and rewatch this just so I can feel better about missing a few things. But PFL is definitely putting on cards that are worth eyes being on. It's just unfortunate that this one was in in Dubai at the time. So the time difference, man, just killed me with this one. But once again,
yeah, no, we'll get into that later for sure, because I have a few things to say on that when we're done breaking down the card, because it was the biggest rematch in their history,
Mm-hmm.
and I found it a little bizarre to be on a Friday at the middle of the day. I mean, like you said, with the time difference, it kind of makes sense, especially because like PFL's big market is primarily not in the United States. So, but I really didn't hear as much buzz as I thought we'd be getting out of this. So that kind of threw me for a loop too. Like when we knew it was like last week, I thought it was going to be on Saturday just because, I kind of assumed that's what they'd be doing. I know the PFL has been using the Friday as their Friday night fights, but this one did kind of throw me off a bit for sure.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you, man. To see or to think about their main thing, like their version of maybe John Jones and Daniel Cormier, or Pereira and Yuri Prohaska or something. Two guys that have already kind of put their all into the ring one time. Some of their biggest names. I thought personally the idea would have been to give the broader audience that you want to capture a little more of an opportunity to see it, instead of it being midday Friday. Understandably, like you said, the PFL's main audience, I think, is more of a Eastern European crowd. And when I say Eastern European, I mean more of a mixed bag than in America. You know what I mean? Because of course, in regular the United States and North America, we are and rightfully so, we are glued to the UFC. But the ugly sister isn't that bad. You know what I mean? She puts on makeup, she got nice shoes, she gets her hair done. PFL is all right to watch, and I definitely can agree with the fighters who are on the cards. They do put on a show, and I wish I would have not had to be at work, so I could have watched it. But I'm gonna watch it.
And one thing you also have to consider is for the two fighters in the main event, it was like prime time for them, back home. So that might have been kind of a conscious thing about it. The PFL continues to kind of be the, good soldier to ESPN, and as far as filling whatever time slot they need. So that could definitely have something to do with it. Especially the you had to sign up for like ESPN Unlimited to watch it. It was not under the kind of ESPN Plus how it's always previous been. So I could see why that would rub some people the wrong way. But at the same time, I know that's all on ESPN, and PFL really has no say in those things. Like, when you kind of sign your rights over to, those type of deals, you just kind of got to work with them. And that's how it played out. So hopefully it'll get the recognition it deserves. In no way did I think it was a boring fight. I just kind of wish I saw a little bit more output from Hughes. I think he was just, being because mainly to me, like, there was already the 5 rounds they had, so I thought he would just come out a little bit more aggressive, but at the same time it was a very high technical fight between two very good people in the sport. And I mean, I would easily order another 5 rounds of it. I mean, I doubt they do it because I think Usman want to do other things. I mean, who knows how many fights he has left on his deal? I could completely see him going to the UFC now that Islam has moved up to 170. So that'd be kind of interesting to see.
So what's going on, Teron? Well, welcome in, man. Make sure you share the live. Jump in and talk about these fights with us. And yeah, man, I'm right there with you. What's another Dagestani fighter not going to do except for go move up to the UFC? Why not? You know what I mean? He doesn't have to fight his brother. And that's what I think would more than likely have been one of the stopping points of him switching up is I'm not going to get in the same division as my brother. So now he doesn't have to worry about that. And before we get into this weekend, since we talked about PFL, we might as well jump to the UFC as one of the big fights coming up in November was finally put out there, and this is not for a pay-per-view, but for a UFC fight night. That's right, Saturday, November the 22nd, in ABHA Arena in Doha, Qatar. We got Uncle Dana finally gave us a piece to hang our hats on, and we got the main event being Arman Tsarukyan versus one of the UFC's brightest and most exciting fighters, Dan Hooker. All right. Also on that same card, a welterweight fight, which I think would be definitely something to keep my eye on. Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. A little further down, what else is exciting? Felipe Lima, Daniel Marcos. All right, I like that one. Is there anything else? Sergey Spivak, Shamil Gaziev. That's another one. Yeah. So just for now, because of course, as we know, going into November, these names are subject to change. Somebody could hurt their knee in a fight camp, pull out, not make it, can't make the trip. We're getting into that time of the year where things happen. Oh yeah, and Alonzo Metafield invoking Ozamida. That's another one too. So just to talk about the top 2 fights, the main and the co-main, Bobby, with Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, and Bilal Muhammad and Ian Gary. Like, what are your initial thoughts as we heard about those 2?
I mean, imagine being Perth dealing with the site fee you paid, and then you see these fights get announced in Qatar. It was I love both fights. It's very rare that you get 2 like title contention fights back to back on the same card. But like I said, that Qatar site fee must be I'm just numb to it at this point. I know if I want to have a nice built fight night card, they got to be kind of going over there. And it's great to see Arman get back in the cage, even if it's not against the title fight. But I think both are on point. I mean, I thought the Bilal Ian Gary was actually the main event until I saw the Arman and Hooker announcement. So yeah, I mean 170 and 155, like right there at the top. Those divisions are getting active again. I'm excited about it. I know people are assuming that like Ilya will fight like Gaethje or Patty now. I'm not really there yet. I don't think we see him until next year anyways. So it's kind of like, that mute point. You led with it, that this fight is happening in November. So let's see what happens with it.
Yeah, man. When I first got the wind of what was going on, first off, let's just call a spade a spade. Bilal Muhammad is one of the better fighters in the UFC, but he's just not. He's not where you want him to be to have a name, but it's okay, right? Why? Because they're fighting in Qatar. They're fighting around a crowd of people who, of course, want to see him win because it's like a home crowd, home field advantage. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of my brothers of Islam over there. You know, salam alaikum, of course, and they're excited to see Bilal Muhammad go against Ian Gary. And of course, to me, Ian Gary, when put in the right situation, is electric. You know what I'm saying? Ian Gary comes out there with the no nonsense attack, which of course, you know, includes arms, legs, elbows, knees. We've seen it all come from Ian Gary at one point in time. And you know, this is kind of like a stylistic fight or a style breaker fight. Just when Bilal Muhammad won, you know, the title, we saw Bilal Muhammad put us in a bit of a tizzy because, you know, he basically put us to sleep. But when we seen him fight Jack Della Maddalena, it was a whole nother type of fight. And he was somewhat unequipped looking for that fight. So, you know, beating Leon Edwards, fighting Jack Della Maddalena, I somewhat want to say that Ian Gary is more of the Jack fight style of fighter. You know what I mean? I think it's more in the bag. You know, I think it's more in the bag for Ian Gary. But if Bilal comes out there and focus and yeah, Joe, let's put this up. Hooker and Armin definitely fighting Topuria next. Somebody's got to fight him, but you know, Justin Gaethje's threatening to retire if he doesn't. So we'll see about how that goes. Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. Bilal wins by dominant split decision. Listen, you're taking the words out of my mouth. If Bilal Muhammad chooses, it's a choice to go in there and do what he did to Leon Edwards, Ian Gary, and I am an Ian Gary fan. Ian Gary has very little to combat that dominant position on your back style that Bilal Muhammad displayed against Leon Edwards. Now, if he wants to put on a show for his people and stand and fight, I think he'll be at a disadvantage when it comes to Ian Gary. I don't think that'll be the smart fight plan. Maybe he comes out and looks like he wants to stand and fight and squabble with Ian Gary, but I don't think that he'll do that. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to get back to the title fight. And if he wants to get back to the title fight, he's got to go do the Dagestan thing, baby. We got to fight like a stand. And then and literally, when I say stand, I mean Dagestan. Okay, we got to get on. We got to wrestle. We got to get on the back. We got to make it annoying. We got to make the fight ugly. And that's what Bilal Muhammad did in the past. But then, of course, going backwards, you know, or rather forwards to the main event, Arman Tsarukyan, y'all. Before the injury happened to Arman Tsarukyan, you know, arguably, Bobby, this was the guy, right? You know, so now that we see him going in there against a known madman, okay, a known lunatic, you know, like what can we say about this Dan Hooker and Tsarukyan fight on a fight night card, bro? Not even a pay-per-view, but on a fight night card at that. What's your opinion on this one?
Yeah, I mean, those two back to back are just, you know, really well. It's kind of more from the olden days of, you know, what we used to get. And Armin and Dan definitely don't like each other. They've kind of been going back and forth, so adds a little bit of, you know, animosity to it there. And yeah, I mean, Armin did have the title shot and had to pull out the day before, and pretty much since then has been inactive. Booking a few grappling matches that he's done. So I kind of wonder how the UFC felt about that. So even though I wanted him to fight Ilya next, I kind of always knew that they were going to make him at least prove it one more time. And good opportunity for Hooker. You know, I know he's been dealing with some injuries with the hand. So hopefully all of that kind of gets done the right. You know, normally I would probably just heavily favor Armin in this, but, you know, Hooker did have that really good performance against Gamrot and had quite a bit of success against him. So you really can't count Hooker out. And either the main or the co-main, I think both are definitely worthy of being a main event. So to have two of them stacked back to back on a fight night, I don't know what more you could ask for there. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, man. I'm completely with you on this one. To have two pretty much number one contention fights, number one contender eliminator fights back to back on the card. I think this is this is UFC's early Thanksgiving to UFC fight fans, man. This is something that, what is it? The week of Thanksgiving, the weekend of Thanksgiving. We're gonna go and eat turkey and ham and talk about this. We're gonna say, man, did you catch that? I know that UFC fight. I know it was early. It was on midday the other day, but man, what a fight! It was worth some midday beer and having a conversation and watching it. So I'm excited to see about this one. Now, as we talk about the lightweight division, I would be remiss, Bobby, to not bring this information out as we talked about someone who at one point in time was ready to go be the champion. What about the guy who was supposed to fight, bro? I heard and I read that right now Shavkat Rakhmonov, someone who is on his way up, and when I say on his way up, I mean a meteoric rise to the top, and not having a push from the system. He was beating guys handedly and scaring the crap out of people as he was getting there. Shavkat somehow is re-injured his knee, if I'm not mistaken. He pulled out of the title fight in last year, May. Now Rakhmonov somewhere he had a knee surgery. The procedure was done in May of 2025. Before the surgery, he was widely reported that he fought Ian Gary at UFC 310 with a torn MCL. His coach reported in April that Rakhmonov was actively training and recovering. Since April, we have been getting reports that he has re-aggravated the surgically repaired knee, and we may have another year with no Shavkat. Most of the guys I know, especially when it comes to partial, we're not getting all of the information, whether it's a full tear or a partial tear of the MCL that was repaired. I know from just my football experience and talking with athletes and trainers from college and beyond that guys from those injuries where your ligaments are concerned and the tendons, you have to do the reconnection. You don't become. It takes 8 months to get you actually moving in motion, but it takes like a year and a half before you to be comfortable. You know what I mean? To fight. So what do you think about is happening with Shavkat right now? As it seems as though, which it happens to everyone, but it seems as though the UFC is moving on in the direction of putting Sarukian back, who was also injured and has come back from his injury.
Yeah, well, so Shavkat, he's welterweight 170. He had to pretty much Bilal pulled out of their title fight, and that is when he stayed on to fight Ian Gary, and then he won a unanimous decision. And like you said, he had a tear apparently in that fight, or possibly it happened in that fight. I'm not positive on that. But I saw the thing saying that he's expected to be out a few more months. I don't know how accurate it is. I know he's also, been dealing with some, personal stuff as well. So it's unfortunate that we haven't seen him, but at the same time, I kind of do get the time away. But hopefully everything can get right and he can be back by, sometime the middle of next year. I'm not sure if it's, confirmed either. I always, take the Russian headlines with a grain of salt, but it definitely, did not sound positive. So hopefully, he can get that back going because, he is undefeated. It's just people definitely forget because, he hasn't fought in a decent amount of time. But hopefully he can get everything healed up and get back in there. I kind of always am going to feel like Bilal versus Shavkat is going to be the one that got away because, Bilal had to pull out because of his toe. And, we haven't really seen Shavkat since the Gary fight. So hopefully he can get it all worked out, though. Always been a fan of Shavkat, but it just seems pretty up in the air right now to be seeing him anytime soon.
Yeah, man. And to now that I'm looking at the rankings, even through injury, even through a year and some change off almost, almost pretty much we're about to it looks like it's going to be a year. Shavkat is still ranked number 3 at welterweight. In the men's pound for pound time ranking according to UFC, he's at 15. That's in my mind, to have this bit of a layoff and still be in the top 15. That shows you where he was. And just like you mentioned, bro, he was definitely undefeated. And to see that, he's still in the back of other people's minds, I think that's a great thing. So if Shavkat was ever to watch this, I hope he feels better and come back soon and give us some more of that of what we're missing. You know what I mean? But now, as we get right into it, tomorrow, UFC 320, something that I think is weighing heavily on my mind. I know it's weighing heavily on Bobby's. We get to see some really good fights in this one as well, as we of course are headlined by Ankalaev Pereira 2. The return of Alex Pereira, who we've never seen, never in life have we seen him look like that. And then also headline and by the co-main event of the return of the Georgian gangster. That's right, Merab Dvalishvili against Corey Sandhagen. I'm excited about that one. But then right under that, which I would consider the co-main event, 2 guys who only have 3 takedowns between them. That's right, 3. Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree. The rest of the card, I'm not going to say is not as interesting, but the rest of the card is a bit of a mixed bag. I just want to stick to these top 3, Bobby, and we are going to go. Of course, we're going to go full-fledged next week when we come back. But come on, let's talk about it, bro. Right there, the 3rd fight from the top: Khalil Roundtree, Yuri Prohaska. What else can we say except for please don't blink?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely know you're getting the action. I think the UFC kind of hedged their bets here in case, the co-main and the main kind of stall out. You at least know you're getting this one. But
ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're being joined by our guy. Is it? Oh, wait. Is that you? Are you there? Is that you, Botkins? Yeah. Go ahead, Bobby. Do your thing.
Hold on a second. I might need to. Hey, what? I don't know what y'all been talking about. Hold on. I might have to restart my laptop because I feel like I'm frozen.
No, you moving. We see you, bro. You are here.
We good? You're broken. You're choppy. I feel like I'm on my end.
Okay. Well, it's up to you. We stalled enough that we talked about Cotter. We talked about the PFL. We talked about UFC. We're just now about to talk about 320. So because we was trying to wait on you.
Oh shit! You didn't have to do that. Let me. I'm gonna restart. Y'all start. Y'all kick off talking about 320, and then we'll.
For sure.
I'm gonna restart. I'll be back.
Wait, pull up the main card real quick, just so I can see the first 2 fights on the main card.
I got you, bro. It's nothing. Let's see. Boop. Doop. Let's do something fun and put it on the screen. So right now, as we can see, main card, we got a good bit of stuff, man. Right about here is where we get to start. Edmund Shabazian, we love Shabazian over here on the show. Versus Andre Muniz. Patchy Mix. Let's not sleep on that one. Okay. Yakub.
Yeah, they kind of buried him too. If you look at that placement, I mean, I guess he's not on the early prelims, but and they're not doing him any favors with that matchup either. I mean, that's a champion in another promotion. So definitely on the prelims, that's probably one I got circled for interest for sure. Is that a one-time thing for Patchy? I mean, Mario really just he really had nothing for Batista. So I'm kind of interested to see if he bounces back, because they have given him one hell of a challenge for that.
Yeah, bro. This is definitely one of those ones where I'm somewhere conflicted about it because Patchy Mix is one of those guys I like to see. You know what I mean? But Jakub Wiklax, yes. As you mentioned, bro, he ain't playing. He coming from another promotion, looking to get to that bank, bro. This is one of those ones where, if I am not mistaken, hold on, because I just was looking at it. Because that's actually one of the ones that I'm excited to see. Wilclax, my guy, was out here is currently unranked, but if I'm not mistaken, he was on a bit of a streak. Yeah, he's on a 2-fight win streak. Of course, coming from KSW, making his debut against Patchy Mix right now. This is a bit of a trap in my mind. This is a bit of a trap fight. He's been winning fights, but he's been winning fights via submission. He's got 10 wins and 1 loss by submission. He doesn't have any KOs, and he has 6 wins by decision. Patchy better be on his guard when it comes to this one, if you ask me. But as we slide up a little bit, Daniel Santos, Joe Sang Yu, that's another good one. Shout out to my guys, shout out to my South Koreans.
So stop it right there.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, at the top, that he got an opponent switched up on the left there. God bless the guy taking this on short notice, because I do not know many people that would take this fight on short notice.
Mm-hmm.
They really kind of remind me of the Ngannou build with him. And I think this has vicious first round KO written all over it. Yeah,
definitely. Treston Vines, I got it. I like to see get out there and do his thing. Treston right now is out here on a bit of the win streak. It's like 4 fights. Okay.
They pretty much signed him for this, because we see this so many times, like guys that get let in because of a last minute cancellation or something, and that is completely what this is. I mean, I don't see the odds up, but I'm assuming he's like a minus 700. I mean, he's got that Cameroon power.
Mm-hmm. And we see right here on the side. Thanks, Ash. Yes, Atiba Gutierrez, technical with power, is scarier than Francis, in my opinion. Look out for him. Now, scarier than Francis, bro. I don't know about that. Once again, our guy Barkins, you back in the building. Bro. How was the fight? I mean, not the fight, the game.
The girl, my daughter played good, but not great. And I mean, the team, they lost. I mean, they got demolished by about 15 or 20, but better, it happens. I mean, you got to love junior high girls basketball. You know what I mean? So,
right. So we just
did you Bobby Knight and throw a chair?
No. You yell out. She always gets that mad at me because I'm always yelling. Box out. Dive for the ball. Get your hands up on defense. And then she's like, "Dad, the whole gym can hear you." I'm like, "Well, don't give me nothing to yell about. I won't yell at you." It is. It is. Go ahead with.
No. My dad would do the same thing, and he would say, "Well, if the whole gym can hear me, then why didn't you do what I said?"
Yeah, hey, I might use that line next time.
But
we UFC
right
320. Yeah. Can I get my thoughts real quick? I know you guys already talked about it. I just want to get this out about the Hughes and Nurmagedov real quick. I know. Can I just?
I knew this was coming. Go for it.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah, because Bob covered it for me. But I love to get. It's your thing. Do you?
I mean, this is our show, but I just want to again. I don't know how first of all, I thought Bobby. I text Bobby because I thought there was 3 10-8 rounds. I guess they messed that up. Is that correct, Bobby? Like that's a misprint. Is that for real?
Yeah. I just mainly saw the 10-8 in the 5th, but it was a misprint. They redid it. It's on like literally like this Excel document.
Yeah.
So yeah, it almost made things more confusing if you were already confused, I guess. So yeah.
I was confused. First of all, how the hell do you score that 50-45? I don't fucking know. I mean, Stevie fucking Wonder reffing or fucking judging this shit. And Keith fucking Peterson, are you on the fucking take? Like, I mean, Jesus. You like, I mean, he's got to be on the take, right? I mean, where like first the headbutt, right? First there's a groin strike in the first, then there's a headbutt, and then there's another groin strike, and maybe a little nice acting. I might, if you want to tell me that Hughes embellished a little bit in some nice acting, maybe
He was
so.
on the ground.
I mean, the way he was on the ground, that's
gonna be a meme for years.
A little bit of acting by Hughes, right? But I mean, there's not one fucking point taken away. How do you not take a point away for 3 illegal strikes? 3, 2 in the groin and 1 after the bell, a headbutt. What are we doing, Keith Peterson?
We know Keith Peterson beyond that nonsense.
I mean, Jesus. Yeah, he'd be on that nonsense, all right. They should call him Keith Peterson Nonsense now. Keith Nonsense.
When I saw him telling the fighters, obey my commands, I literally said, good luck. Because, it's – I don't know. I thought the fouling was sloppy on both sides. So, like, I'm like the point taker of all point takers, and I didn't think it really needed a point.
I thought after the second groin strike, I probably would have gave it to you. You have to take it. And the judging is.
I definitely understand the argument. The 50-45 was wild to me. Like I was telling Whit, I could understand 4-1. I gave Usman rounds 1, 4, and 5. So I did.
Usman, I had 1, 4, and 5 as well. 5, maybe it was close, but yeah.
So I scored 2 and 3 for Hughes, but they were also very close. So if someone wants to tell me because like the back control or something like Usman got a takedown like at the very end of the second round, which I thought Hughes won the round at that point. But if you want to have that swing it, I kind of get that. But 50-45 was a little bizarre. But the explaining and handling of it was, I know some people will say they were trying to like show transparency, but it just made it like even more confusing. But like, fortunately, I did think the right guy still won the fight.
I will say I thought Usman won the fight, but a 50-45 scorecard is asinine. And then the original 10-8, when I saw 3 fucking 10-8s, I said, where the hell? That was a close fight. Nowhere in on this planet or the next fucking planet or in this God's creation, there was a 10-8 round in any of those rounds.
Yeah, the scoring all night was a little bizarre.
Yeah.
Like to the point you had Jimmy Smith on commentary pretty much insinuating if Paul Hughes doesn't win the fight by finish, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
Which, that scorecard was absolutely bad. But like the more ironic thing is if they took a point, it wouldn't have made a difference. Like based off that scoring. So but I don't know, like for me the fight still like delivered, but it is gonna kind of have that background noise to it there for sure.
Yeah, the fight wasn't as good as the first one, I didn't feel like, but I was just upset with the judging, the ref, Keith Peterson. I mean, Hughes and Nurmagedov deserve better. Like they are two.
Oh, absolutely.
And they deserve fucking better. Hughes deserves better. Nurmagedov deserves better. They both deserve better. Do fucking better, PFL. Do fucking better. That's all
I'm pretty sure Usman's going to the UFC after this too. We'll see. I think what happens.
Somebody said I think he has 1 fight left. Maybe. If I'm Hughes, I want the fuck out tomorrow. Get me out of here. This rigged bullshit. Get me out.
Hey.
I'm never fighting. If I'm Paul Hughes, I'm never fighting in Saudi Arabia against a Nurmagedov, anybody with the last letter with a V in their last fucking name ever again. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, look, when you get in front of those crowds, dog, just like we will be in Qatar, if you fight anybody who is on the Muslim side, you kind of gotta knock them out, dog.
Yeah,
Wait, is it Qatar or Qatar? I've been
Qatar.
saying
It's
Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, Qatar.
Okay.
Qatar. Yeah.
We get over there, they're gonna say quarter. We're gonna feel so wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's Qatar because that's where the World Cup was, or supposed to be a couple years ago, I think.
you're right. Yeah, Qatar.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is UFC 320. We can get back into the 320 talk. You guys covered a little the prelims already, yeah.
Yeah, I went over a little bit of that. So
How about
if you wanted
Patchy
to-
Mix? How about
Yeah.
the Patchy went from, hey, this is one of our guys, right? To like, we're promoting this guy. This is going to be a key person. We want this guy to do well. I think he was like a third fight on the like a main card, like a pay-per-view, right? His debut on the UFC debut, and now they got him buried. So far, I mean, I'm surprised if Miss Hardy wasn't on this card, he'd probably be the curtain jerker. You know,
I knew you were gonna bring her up.
so
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
hard.
poor Patchy, and I don't never even heard of this Jacob Willicks guy. They're even like buried him so far in the
He's
prelim.
dangerous. They're
Yeah.
doing him no
And gave him a
favors.
guy. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
KSW champion. I'm really
Okay.
excited for this. But they're just based off the matchmaking and the card placement. It seems like they're over the Patchy Mix experiment, and they're just trying to see what they can get off his name. That's just my opinion.
Prove it to us. I mean, they did the same thing with Pitbull, right? So, like, hey, we gave him a shot. Now we'll see. Now we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting what Pico's next fight looks like. Similar
Yeah,
situation.
My guy Yaku Wilcox, aka Masa, right out here in the streets with, if I'm not, what I just say, last two wins. He got a draw, but the point that I did, and shout out to my guys at Tapology for having this, because I love this little breakdown. 10 wins by submission, no wins by knockout. So we know what he wants to do. Okay, Patchy Mix better watch his elbows and all of his joints, because he's coming for a neck, an elbow, an arm, something. And that's obviously what he does. And Patchy Mix is the complete opposite. So he better be ready for it, in my mind.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's get into the main card. What if you want to scroll up there? The main card starts out with Joe. What did he say he was going to change his name to? Take the
Joe Body Cam Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Joe Body Cam Pfeiffer, because he's going to shut the body cam off. Thanks, Bobby. I knew it was something semi questionable nickname there. Joe Body Cam Pfeiffer versus Abbas Magomedov, and it's Joe Pfeiffer comes in with the favorite at minus 245. Agabeyov the plus 280 there. Joe Pfeiffer on a nice winning streak since the Hermanson fight. He's won 2 in a row. Abus they're high on Abus here as well. Abus is he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Bobby, I'll start with you. Who you like to win and why?
I mean, it's kind of a bizarre one because from what I've heard, a boost was offered to Pfeiffer prior, and Pryor wasn't really digging it because he wasn't ranked and he thought he deserved someone better. And then ironically, a boost won and then had a higher ranking than Pfeiffer did. So now all of a sudden, Pfeiffer thinks he's worth the time of day.
Imagine that. That's funny how those things work out, huh?
Yeah, and he did fight Kelvin, and I'm not surprised he didn't get ranked off Kelvin. I think this is a little bit of a tougher fight than the odds would suggest, because Abus, is pretty decent there, but I don't know. I do think Pfeiffer will hold the power. I just kind of wonder where it would go if it gets kind of into rounds 2 or 3 here. But I would probably have to lean Pfeiffer just off kind of what I've seen in the past from him. I think he'll be able to kind of blitz him and hopefully to get him out early. But I'm not really trying to count out a boost either, because I mean the odds would pretty much say they are. But I would take Pfeiffer in this one.
Yeah. What about you, big dog?
Yeah, man. I was looking, once again at these numbers, bro, and I didn't even know, what I'm saying. Boost is out here 28-6. That's a crazy amount of fights for his age. And he's won 14 of them by knockout. Joe Pfeiffer is got to come out here and do something to set this off, because I don't think that he wants to stand and bang with this guy for a long period of time, or give him the opportunity to land one of these knockouts on him in the middle of this card somehow, some way. But of course, like we said, Joe Piper's been on a bit of a ride. We give him that. Kelvin Gastelum, we know Kelvin Gastelum likes to fool around a little bit, but this one right here, I think he should definitely not hold any punches on. Literally, if I gotta go with one, I really, I'm slightly leaning towards the Nurmagedov right now, because I don't know if Pfeiffer is prepared for what he's about to get into. He's seen a lot. Joe, don't get me wrong. Joe Pfeiffer is a guy that I like seeing win, but I don't know if he'll be prepared to see what he's going to face on Saturday. And he's got to be 100. He's got to be 110% ready, because if not, it's not going to end well for him. So let's go with Nurmagedov on this one for me.
Joey Pfeiffer is a guy I was on board with. Really liked his backstory. He'd been through a lot, and every time he opens his fucking mouth, I mean, it's 100% Philadelphia and then some, and it just makes me. I hate him. I fucking it makes me dislike him every time he fucking talks. I mean, every fucking time. I'm like, this guy is an elite. He is an East Coast elitist, Philadelphia John. I mean, in to the fucking T. So I understand why he is the way he is, because I've met a lot of people like Mr. Joey Pfeiffer. Bobby's fucking related to probably half of them.
He's just a dude from South Street.
Yeah, okay.
I get he's not for everyone.
He's not. But he's a hell of a fucking fighter is what he is.
For damn sure.
I mean, he is. And he can put people's lights out as well. I'm riding with Joey P here. It used to be Joe Pfeiffer. I don't want to be Joe Pfeiffer, but I do want Joe to win.
Definitely. I want him to win too, but these scary hours right here, man. Abusman Nurmagedov, he's got a lot under his belt to see if that wisdom plays out in the ring against a guy who wants to get up in the rankings.
Yeah. I mean, both guys. That's a good fight to open up the card. This card is excellent, by the way. I mean, and then we get into the next one, the return of Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett, huge dog on this one, plus 330 versus Josef Zalazal. A couple of featherweights here. Josh Emmett, we know he's fought the who's who. Yazoo for Zalazal. How you say his name? Zalazal. Wait, go ahead. You're the name.
Yosef Zala is what I've heard. Somebody else.
Yosef Zala. Zala, the younger fighter, he's 11 years younger. I didn't realize Josh Emmett is 40. Yosef is 29, so quite the age difference here. Emmett's been a little bit. He's lost 3 out of his last 4. Now he has fought the who's who. He's lost to Yair, Ilya, and Lerone Murphy. So if you think about it, he lost to the interim title to a guy. Then he lost to a future champ and a guy who could be champ. Did knock out obviously Bryce Mitchell and put him into another universe. You got Zala here. I feel like Zoltan. I feel like we're fucking dude. Where's my car? Zoltan. And we got Zala here. I mean, this guy's undefeated in the UFC. He is 17-5 overall, 9 subs. Heavy favorite here at minus 425. Wait, who do you like here?
Man, I got to give it up for the old dog. The old guard in the UFC sometimes shows up and shows out. It's an opportunity for Josh Emmett to just put another stamp, another feather in his cap. We've seen Josh Emmett do some wild stuff, Bryce Mitchell with that overhand right. Took the guy who's supposed to be the guy from Canada off the map. I haven't heard anything from Bryce Mitchell since. The Lerone Murphy fight, yeah, he looked outmatched. He did get outmatched. That is what happened.
Lerone just fucking moved within him in that fight. Just hit, move, hit, move, hit, move. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He looked like he was outmatched because he couldn't keep up with Lerone at that time, and rightfully so. Lerone should be moving on to have a title fight very shortly. So we'll be able to see that. But in my mind, right now, with this type of matchup, is this where the rubber meets the road for Josh Emmett, the young up and coming fighter who does the complete opposite of what Josh Emmett does? Will Josh Emmett, bend the knee to this kind of sort of and end up having to get on the ground and maybe try to figure out a way to get a sub or get out of dominant position? I think the old man knocks him out when he really least suspects it. Don't get me wrong, Yusuf Zalal is great. He's on a crazy streak right now, but this is one of those guys that when you try to do what you do best against a guy like this, Josh Emmett, and you try to maybe pull guard or you get out of dominant position, Josh Emmett hits the reverse on you, and bam, now you're on your back and you're on the ground, or possibly even getting knocked out standing. So I really think this is a stylistic fight that I'm interested in seeing. But if I got to go with somebody, I'm going to go with Josh Emmett on this one. No disrespect to Zalal. I want to see him win. I don't think he's going to do it tomorrow.
Ooh, that'd be a big upset.
Big upset.
Yeah. Bobby, Josh Emmett did say he's working on his strength and he can punch harder now than what he has before. So
why is he doing that? Like, I mean, you think he literally needs more power?
I heard he's been working out with TRT TJ.
Oh, well, that's got to be great.
And we can all agree Josh Emmett's one of the weirdest looking body people we've ever seen in our lives too.
Okay.
Look like a juice box.
Yeah, I mean, Emmett definitely has the power. Like, if he's going to win the fight, that's how it's going to go. But you saw that fight with Murphy, and Emmett was not able to touch him. And with him just saying that he's worked on his power, I mean, I guess in theory that could mean, yeah, he was, also working on his footwork and stuff. But Zalal is just as nasty of kind of like a counter striker. And I just don't think Emmett's going to have much success to be able to knock him out. Like, if he can connect, I could absolutely see it happening. But will he be able to get anything going? I just think Zalal's going to fight smart, not necessarily be on his bike the entire time, but not really put himself in a position to get KO'd, because he knows that's, Emmett's main way he's going to win. So I would have to probably lean Zalal here, because he just looked the Kelvin Cater fight. I mean, he just a true 50-45.
Yeah.
And, he did not get touched. So I'm going to have to lean Zalal in this one.
Yeah, my heart says Josh Emmett, but my head says Zalal. He's going to watch that Lerone Murphy tape, and it's going to be carbon copy, I feel like. So give me Mr. Zoltan Zalal for the win, baby.
Zoltan Zalal out there doing his thing. Let's see if he gets another sub.
Heaviest favorite on the main card. Heaviest favorite.
Yeah, and look, if you putting that money on Josh Emmett and he comes up, buy me a steak. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, yeah. We got maybe my favorite fight on the card is next. I've been looking forward to this fight since it was announced. I mean, I'm half chub just thinking about it, and it's Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree. Wait, you want to scroll up just a bit?
I got you, bro.
There you go. It is Khalil Roundtree, who has had the nice win last time out against Jamal Hill in the return fight after losing in the title fight. He won that by decision back in June. He is taking on Yuri. Yuri coming back after getting his master's degree. It's been since January where he beat Jamal Hill in January, Yuri Prochazka. So it's been a little bit for both fighters. Yuri, the slight favorite. It looks like they got it at minus 180 and plus 150 for Khalil Roundtree. Both of these guys, one of these guys, I'm sure you guys talked about Oldberg, how he could be next for but one of these guys could make a case too. I believe if Ankalaev wins, they could make a case. If it's Alex wins the main, I would slide Oldberg in, but it all depends. Bobby, we'll start with you this time.
Set me up for the bangers. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, and you saying this was the number one contender fight.
It could be. I'm saying it could be.
It's potentially, yeah.
It's a great fight, but it should not be for the belt next.
I think Oldberg makes the most legit case. But if something happens, like he can't make it and they're available, or somebody gets hurt, this would be 1B.
Or if this is a devastating win for one or the other, like
Oldberg handled business and knocked out.
Competitive wise, you would think this would be more kind of a back and forth fight. So I get the aspect of being able to put it, but as I was telling Whit before, I've seen them both in the title fight. Give it to Oldberg, but for this specific fight, there's really nothing negative you could say about it. I'm kind of surprised Yuri's the favorite.
Over under 1.5 takedowns.
Oh, under.
That's probably pretty safe.
Under.
Yeah. What about half? What about one under 1 takedown? Roundtree's never attempted a takedown in his UFC career. Yuri has like 3, I think.
Yuri's got that samurai thing where they're gonna bow each other.
I don't think we see a takedown this whole fight.
Yuri's got that college degree now. You never know. He might fight a little smart.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I don't know what's more scary.
It's a tough one to pick because the fighting style. So on paper, it probably is about as 50-50 of a fight as you can get. But I don't know. I like that John Wood is in Roundtree's corner, but at the same time, Yuri just keeps kind of moving forward when stuff gets rough. So I'm kind of tempted to slightly lean Yuri here. I think he's going to kind of find a way to get it done. It's not a 5-round fight, so they don't have to worry about, holding back the cardio too much. But that Jamal Hill fight last time, he took some shots, but he really looked like he was kind of willing to die out there. We know Roundtree has the same style. I just think Yuri is kind of going to overcome that style fight a little bit better, especially with the war that Roundtree was in with Potent. Yuri has the benefit of going to sleep in the Potent fight. So I think Roundtree's damage is just going to add up with this fight, and Yuri will get it done.
Oh, okay. All right. Whit?
Wow, man, I love you, Bobby, but I gotta disagree with you on this one, bro. I somewhat feel completely the opposite. When I think about what happened with Yuri Prochazka and him getting taken out, yeah, he took on Khalil Roundtree, but the two of them passed Khalil Roundtree like college homeboys in the dorm room. It was kind of like exhibition for us to see if Khalil Roundtree still had it. And I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. I'm not saying that his past does not prove that he's worth it. Khalil Roundtree right now, today, this is what I want to see from him, or the matchup that I want to see. It's not somebody that's going to try and wrestle him. It's not somebody that's going to try and outthink the matchmakers by putting them in the ring. Yuri and Khalil will get head to head, and the only other person I think would have maybe had done something similar was Jamal Hill, and they both fought Jamal. So right now, if I got to put my money on who's going to win this style of fight, where it's probably going to be no holds, no takedowns, all stand up, damn near a kickboxing match, I got to go Khalil, man. And just because of the output that I saw him do against Poatan, the thing that I remember is, Alex Pereira catching a couple of those blows in my mind and me going, if it was anybody else besides Alex Pereira, they would have been going down. And just like you mentioned, Botkins, it's not 5 rounds. And I think that favors the output of Roundtree way more than it does Prohaska. I feel like Prohaska has that pace where by round 3 or 4, he's a little bit more acclimated to fighting those longer fights. I like Khalil in a shorter fight. And to be honest with you, I like Khalil to knock him out by the second round. So yeah, Khalil Roundtree for me on this one, bro.
So I'm going to say this: Khalil's a little bit different fighter. What we saw from the Poatan fight to the Hill fight, he's a lot more patient, a lot more smarter. He's not going quite into the fire. Yuri will go into the fire, and when he does, sometimes he gets knocked out. I mean, we've seen him get knocked out by Poatan a few times. I think Khalil's going to play this smart. He's not going to quite go in to the phone booth and play with the fire necessarily. So I think it's going to go decision, and I actually like Roundtree here by decision. I think this is going to be I think this is going to be a good fight, but the casual fan is going to be disappointed because they think that these guys are just going to go to war. I think Yuri will oblige, but I don't think Roundtree is that type of – I think he's changing his style to not fight like he fought against Alex.
I like your deduction, brother. I think you got a better grip on it. It makes more sense for him to come out and not burn himself out, but still point his way to a victory.
I think that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, we all know I'm not the biggest Roundtree believer, so I mean it's not shocking at all that I picked Yuri.
Hater alert.
No, not hater at all. I mean, if you just been talking about that Poatan win for months and months, and
I know, yeah.
That was Roundtree.
Roundtree was plus 165, Yuri minus 195. So it's a close fight. The odds kind of favor.
Yeah, it should be a coin flip.
Yeah, and I think so. One that's not the odds makers don't have a coin flip. It's the co-main event. Merab making his 3rd title defense of the year. I mean, he wins this fight. I give him the damn Fighter of the Year award already. He beat Umar in a fun fight. Knocked out. Did he knock out? Tapped? I can't remember. Tapped out. Shot him, Allie? Did he tap him out? I think. Yeah, he tapped him out.
He submitted him.
And now here comes a guy. A lot of people, including myself, always thought that would fight for the title. He's fought the who's who, and it's none other than Corey Sandhagen. Last time we saw Sandhagen, he finished Figueroa in Des Moines, Iowa, at all places, I believe. So heavy dog is the Sandman at plus. They got him 380 right there, and Merab the heavy favorite. I'll start with you. I mean, Merab, we all know, to me, Merab's ultimate weapon is the cardio and the wrestling. Corey's probably one of the, really well-rounded. I mean, one of the most well-rounded fighters there is in this game.
Mm-hmm. Allow me to sound like a broken record as I repeat you and say that the gas tank, the endurance, the stamina, all these other words that we can use to tell you that Merab Dvalishvili is built differently is what I'm going to stand on. First of all, Corey Sandhagen, definitely one of my favorite fighters. The Sandman gets in there, he does his thing, and is one of the most, and to me, in recent times, one of the most well-rounded guys to fight in this era right now. Period. You know what I mean? We've seen him do some stand-up. We've seen him get a sub or two, and we've seen him win decisively. You know what I mean? Right now, this is where the rubber meets the road for him. And I think that we still get the end still in this one. There's absolutely nothing that I see Corey Sandhagen doing better than Merab. And I mean that with all respect to Corey Sandhagen and who he is as a fighter and a competitor. I just think that Merab's peak as of right now, as of this year, and we always talk about things like ring rust and being like a well-oiled machine. This is what, like you said, Baca's third defense this year.
Yeah,
Shoot, man, if I change a tire 3 times, by the time I get to that fourth tire is mine. I own it. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine, fighting and how warmed up or revved up Merab must be. And he hasn't suffered any damage technically between those 2 fights. So it's not like he's, worn out or something like that. So I really think that this is going to be one where, although it has the potential to go, all 5 rounds, because Corey Sandhagen does have a gas tank on him as well. I really feel like Merab's going to dominate, man, and it's going to be. I feel like what we saw him do to Henry Cejudo is very similar to what we're going to see against Corey Sandhagen. He's not going to beat up Corey Sandhagen to embarrass him or anything like that. But I do see him maintaining a dominant position throughout the entire fight, making Sandhagen, discount or discredit what he's been training to do to win the fight, and finding ways to take himself out of best position so that Merab could take advantage of it. So I'm going Merab on this one. I'm not even going to second guess it. Give it back to the Georgian, and let's see where it goes from there.
Bobby, your thoughts on the co-main event here? Yeah, I don't know if you're muted or what. Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to do the Shedeur Sanders there. I'm glad Corey finally got the opportunity for sure. I definitely think he deserved it next. But as you can see by the line, the odds makers are finally starting to show Merab kind of the respect he deserves, especially for, continuing to defend his title. So I kind of get the odds. I do think if anyone is going to give Merab a fight, Corey does kind of have a unique skill set. If he's able to, kind of pressure him and kind of bring the fight to Merab. The problem is like Merab is just so good at weaponizing that cardio. So it's I feel like Corey's best chances to win the fight are to like capitalize on Merab's mistakes. Because he's not always careful when he's, coming in or out. But that is a very difficult to be able to win a fight that way. I mean, you could always catch, the Leon Edwards lightning in a bottle and get a finish like that. But
hit him with Corey's put people lights out, with like a flying knee or time or two. You know what I mean? Like we've also remember what he did to Frankie and a couple others,
Yeah, and I know Corey is not going to get discouraged from the grappling, but, kind of similar to the Umar fight, he didn't get discouraged in the fight, but there was really nothing else he could do. Now, Merab doesn't, aside from the last fight, normally he just kind of uses the wrestling as more to, continually take you down and stuff. We saw him, get the finish with O'Malley, so will he be searching for kind of more submissions and stuff? Merab's been very vocal about wanting to strike in this fight. And, normally you kind of take that stuff with a grain of salt and sell in the fight. I absolutely do believe that he is going to show off a lot of his striking in this. Now, make no mistake, I do expect him to still wrestle. And I don't know. I really want Corey to win. I can see avenues of him pulling it off. But I just kind of have to lean with the machine at this point until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know if there's ever been a better nickname for a better fighter, and that's Merab the Machine. Like, I mean, this guy, I tell you all the time, like his biggest weapon is his cardio. We all know he's a great wrestler. We've seen him just do things. And I love Merab. I like both these fighters, like as individual people. Like, I think they're both funny. They're both good on social media. They're both genuine people, it seems like. I mean, I think they're trying to hype up this fight. I don't really think there's any real beef. They were kind of, even joking on the presser, Merab saying that Corey shows his balls on his OnlyFans and they're small and everything else. I thought shit was kind of funny.
I got Georgian balls.
Yeah.
Corey definitely looked motivated in that presser, at least. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you like to see that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Corey is a legit mixed martial artist. I actually like his chances better than I liked Sean O'Malley's in the second fight. I think it's a tough task. It's not quite as tough as Umar, I don't think, that Merab went through. I can't pick against Merab until it's one of them. I'm to the point where I can't pick him to lose until somebody beats him, and that's where I'm at with Merab. Give me Merab. Merab wins.
I'm with you, bro.
And still UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili.
Yeah, man. I'm with you 100% until somebody takes him out, bro. I don't know, man. We saw a whole grown Olympic athlete get carried around a ring. Okay. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. We get to the main event. What this card has been built on, it is the rematch from earlier this year. It is the return of Big Ank, baby. Big Ank Magomed. Didn't he change his name to Makayev or is it
I
Makayev
believe it's
Ankalaev now?
Muhammad.
Did he change his name, Bobby?
I believe he changed it to Muhammad Ankalaev, but don't quote me on that. Of course, the UFC hasn't updated it, but
I think he did, right? Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, the what I'm looking at hasn't updated either, but it might be Muhammad Ankalaev. Anyway, the return of Big Ank. We know Big Ank has been on quite the run. He is the reigning defending champion. He's won his last 3, including a unanimous decision back in March against Alex. It is the return of Poton, coming in with a different haircut, different look, in hopes to regain back the title.
he shaved his head.
It's an
don't
interesting
worry.
fight. Ankalaev. Oh, he did? I missed it. Oh, okay. Did he wear the whole get up today? I missed it. Pereira's the slight underdog at plus 210. Big Ank is the favorite at minus 260. Whit, I'll go to you first. The main event, UFC 320.
Shoot,
Wait. No?
man.
Okay.
Let's just take a peek at what's going on, right? So before, and then this is what I got, right? So Magomed did not legally change his name, but he did change his Twitter handle to Muhammad Big Unk, right? So it's kind of changed.
Okay.
But before we got this fight earlier,
Ali Alabi changed his Twitter name, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he didn't change it. Somebody else did. But for me, man, this is a really, really big deal. Before we saw Magomed Ankalaev take Alex Pereira on the ride of his life, I don't know who. I don't even think we predicted the Ankalaev would win in the fashion he did. I've never seen it in my life. It was like a unicorn. And you normally don't get to see a unicorn twice. So for me, Magomed Ankalaev is skilled on every level, on the ground, standing. He's got great hands. I am afraid that right now Alex Pereira is mentally so locked in that he doesn't even remember losing, and that he's going to come in there and try to regain this title in the only fashion he knows, and that's by taking it to Ankalaev in a very, very sniper-like. I remember a couple fights where he's walking around with guys with left hands in their faces, waiting to land the cross. After you might have kicked him one time, You stalked me down, waiting to get you closer to the ropes. I mean, to the ringside and take advantage of you. Ankalaev was the only person that I saw use the grappling in Alex Pereira's pursuit of him against Alex Pereira. I don't think this does not find its way to the. I think this finds its way to the judge scorecard. I think we're going to get another decision out of this one. I think this one's going to be split, but I think it's going to be split so that we get a new UFC light heavyweight champion, repeat champion, Alex Pereira. Don't get me wrong, Ankalaev is the guy. He is that guy. He will be that guy. But to me, this is the opportunity for Alex Pereira to show us and cement his name into the annals of UFC history. And you know anything about UFC, it's a lot of annals. Pause. But the point is the history books will remember that Alex Pereira lost convincingly to Magomed Ankalaev and regained the title in an even more convincing fashion, which even in the last fight, we said, "Oh my God, somebody's finally going to wrestle Alex Pereira." We did not get it. I think we got under 3 takedowns, if I'm not mistaken, like less than 2. I think we get a repeat of it, but Alex Pereira is going to find a way to come out on top on this one. So I'm going with Magomed Ankalaev for losing the belt to Alex Pereira and possibly giving us the opportunity for a trilogy.
All right. He likes and new. Bobby, what about you?
I mean, I already know where you're going with this because we haven't seen the dog mask. So let me get my 2 cents out of the way. I just can't. Like, I do not know what we are expecting to happen or change differently. I did my best to go back and rewatch that fight to see if I saw anything different. I know there are people that scored it for Pereira. To this day, I have no idea what they were watching. I gave him 1 round at best in the 3rd. The rest of the time, Ant looked like the better striker. Potent was not throwing much, and I've made it no secret that I don't really need to see this rematch. I understand why they gave it to him, but I just do not think he can close the gap in being able to get off the fence. And there's not enough time of day to get it to work. He has the eraser button. You know, if he hits him, he can put him out. But I just do not see him really being any more comfortable in this fight than he did in the last one. I really have not been a fan of his pre-fight in this. I've seen nothing but a laundry list of excuses, not giving Ankalaev any credit, pretty much saying he lost because he was injured. And I just think it's going to go the same way. Ank is either going to knock him out or win by unanimous decision.
Yeah, I can see both ways. I understand what you're saying, Bobby, especially as far as like the way he's carried himself. Hell, even Pino, his coach, has kind of said the same thing, right? Like has said like, he just had an off night. It was a bad night. Like so maybe not necessarily like what did we do wrong to get back in the lab to fix what we did wrong? We went in there with the right game plan. We just didn't complete the game plan. So I definitely agree with that aspect. Bob, you got to stop ruining my gimmick here. You know what I mean? Every time here, you haven't brought out the dog mask. You haven't brought out the dog mask. You know, you got to I keep telling you, got to leave the people in suspense. You know what I mean? You're over here just ruining it every time. You know, Bobby's the person that's like, that's the guy, the murderer. The first scene in the movie. They don't know. I could go back and put it on for Roundtree if I wanted to, Bobby. You don't know. With that being said, though, I do think Alex. I think Alex finds it this time. Alex Poton will find the shot. Allegedly, he was sick and everything else last time out. Allegedly. I'm saying allegedly. I don't know for sure. Just saying. That's what they're saying. I think Alex finds his shot, and we get a new UFC lightweight champion of the world, Alex Potan Pereira, baby. Is my dog on the card, and after the fight, they call up the PFL and they trade Magomed to the PFL for Dakota, like Dean Thomas said, baby.
I can't wait for Big Onk versus Olberg.
That's what's happening.
It's going to be Big Onk versus Olberg. Just became my most anticipated fight of 2026.
Hey, listen, and my thing, and check this out. If the fight happens where Pereira wins, Roundtree wins, or if Roundtree wins, or if if it's a possibility that, of course, Yuri wins. If Onk wins, I think that they somehow put that gap in there, and they make Olberg fight whoever wins out of these two. To be honest with you, if Olberg is waiting in the wings to just jump up and fight Ankalaev, I think that they put the brakes on that and make him fight whoever the Roundtree winner is.
Before we go, real quick, I got to shout out. I got to shout out my guy Ray Sweet Baby Hayes is taking on he's the FAC 145 champ. He's taking on another champ tomorrow night in the FAC here. And if they believe, talking to his coach and everybody, they believe you win this one. They believe a contender series could be next.
Hey,
so shout out my guy Ray Sweet Baby Hayes. Weight made at 144. Said his easiest cut to date. So he's hoping to be ready tomorrow to put on the show. So hopefully he gets the dub and one step away from being in the UFC.
Big shouts out to Sweet Baby Rays, man. Go out there and do the damn thing, and let's talk about it with Bodkins later.
Yeah. Wait, you got anything else before we get up out of here? Thoughts?
Yeah, man. Real quick, we just want to go ahead and make sure that everybody is aware that somehow, some way, everybody was talking all that trash about what was going to happen with Crawford and Canelo. So let's just go ahead and be clear. After the fight, post-fight, week 2 going on right about now, Canelo has announced that he will be undergoing elbow surgery. What? Something happened to Canelo's elbow? Yes. If you know anything about boxing, if you know anything about guarding your midsection, and what they call the upper box area, you normally do that with either your right or your left arm crossing across your midsection, and then protecting yourself from the elbow down with the opposite hand. That just signals to me that Crawford, although might not have been making full contact with Canelo's body, he was hitting the crap out of Canelo. If you see any of those other fights that Canelo had, where Bivol and Galcius was fighting at the post fights, those guys' arms were lumped up. This just shows you that Bud Crawford did exactly what Canelo normally does to other fighters to himself. So I'm excited to see what goes on next. And of course, I don't even want to talk about boxing when it comes to the show that will be eventually Tank Davison and that guy that likes to put on spectacles for boxing.
Oh, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
As of right now, that's the main thing. That's the main thing, bro. Let's just give my man Bud Crawford some more props. Let's make sure that we understand that he beat one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best fighter in the world, the biggest name in the world, and he deserves a little bit of respect. And then nothing big comes up until October the 11th, where Boots Ennis will fight on Usima Lima. And if you don't know, Boots Ennis was in the fight camp for Canelo Alvarez, portraying Bud Crawford, but he ain't no Bud. But I do want to see this fight. Yeah, there we go.
All right. Bobby, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just excited for the fights. Everyone enjoy them. Sorry for pushing it back to Friday. Had to enjoy the Dodger game. Appreciate that. And yeah, enjoy the weekend.
For sure, bro.
Yeah. Enjoy all the sports tomorrow, baby. My Cubs in the playoffs. Leads into some BKFC. Can't wait to watch that. Leads us into the UFC, baby. All day tomorrow. We got sports on all day with the fighting, minus obviously the Cubs, but I'm going to be watching that. We'll be back at our regular programming show next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Catch us there. For my guy, Witt, Bobby, I'm Bodkins. We'll catch y'all next week. We'll be back at our normal time and normal night. See y'all.
You guys are so great.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.